Hello and welcome. Today we are venturing into the high-stakes world of crisis and business negotiations with Salva Badillo. He is a certified instructor in complex and high-intensity negotiations through the trusted agency. He is also a member of the Hermione Special Ops Group, which is an elite unit dedicated to hostage and crisis negotiations worldwide. Whether it's a corporate boardroom or a tense hostage situation, Salva brings expertise, calm and resolution to any situation. Join us today as we deep dive into the mind of a master negotiator. Salva, welcome to Empathy at the Table.
Oh, hi, Salva. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good. So let's not pretend that we don't know each other. We know each other very well. We met recently, I think within the next maybe last 3-4 months we've met. And we've actually become very, very close based on our philosophies towards negotiation and emotional intelligence.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah.
So why don't we start by just you sharing with the audience a little bit about yourself and your interest in negotiation.
Okay, about myself, I'm a professional negotiator. I'm a hostage and crisis negotiator in Hermione. Hermione is an NGO, special operations team about negotiation from the rescue of hostages around the world and another type of crisis. So I'm working with the Trusted Agency is my company, and we teach about business negotiations based in part in our experience as crisis negotiators.
So your experience comes in the real world of like real hostage negotiation, being in those real stressful scenarios, life, death. I mean, you hear a lot about that, and you hear people sensationalizing this, but I mean, yes. You've actually looked these situations right in the face.
Yeah, absolutely. That was my job in part. So it's a job that you need to have a good preparation for that, good training, and that's all.
I mean, what makes somebody just decide that, okay, this is a job I want to do. I want to face danger every day, and I want to use my skills of communication to try and find solutions?
Yeah, it's a good question. And the answer is a little bit difficult because we as all the team, we come from the police, from the special forces, from the military, from the intelligence. So in one moment in our lives, we decide to not use the violence to solve a conflict because the conflict can be a good opportunity to improve something, to create a good relationship. So we have the opportunity to use violence and just make people to complain. And we prefer to talk with people and just show some kindness to people that in this mind they are right. They are their reasons to act. Not in a terrorist case. I want to make to put the difference in the first place. But in we can call normal situations, people have something that they are not happy, so maybe they are very stressed, frustrated, not listened by anyone. So why not to talk?
You've gone actually straight to a question I wanted to ask when I was doing the research for our conversation. So there is this idea that showing empathy, using emotional intelligence, some people think that's a weakness. Now, if you look at you, I know you've done 30 years training martial arts, and anybody who, if you're listening on the podcast, if you get a chance to watch the video, you can see Salva's biceps on the screen. I mean, he's a big unit, and it's solid. So the question I was kind of trying to formulate in my mind is, because you've done the work and you're strong, you're powerful, that allows you to show softness. what do you say to people who haven't done that work, right? Who haven't done the physical and the mental work to show how tough they are? What do you say to those kind of people?
Yeah, it's the physical strength. There's nothing to do about anything in life, because a desperate people can be more dangerous. Even is tiny or is little or is doesn't matter. So it's not about physical strength. Is obvious. You need to train every day. Is mental health very important for the mental health? It's very important to feel your body, your brain, feeling your body everywhere and be connected. That is very important. But the most important thing is have the appetite for conflict. And conflict maybe is with yourself, because sometimes we try to escape from uncomfortable situations, and that is what make us more weak, more vulnerable to the stress spikes or the attack from somebody, or the insults, or we perceive as a lack of respect to us. So the first thing a negotiator can need to do is prepare his mind to, for me, the it's not resilience. For me, it's anti-fragility. Is Nicholas Nassim Taleb word. I think it's very good, because we grow after the problem. We in the resilience, you only come back to your original shape. So anti-fragility is more than that. It's expose yourself constantly to very uncomfortable situations, and go out from there stronger, and go out with more peace, because the fear is very necessary. It's a survival emotion, but we cannot be kidnapped by fear. So we need to confront fear every day, because the brave is not who doesn't feel fear. The brave is who feels the fear and act.
So what about people who understand that and have done the work and still become tyrants, become really violent people, who've done all the training and know everything and then use that to try and oppress other people?
That people are very weak, really. If you need to impose your conditions, you need to command in a hard way. If you need to feel that you are better or most than the others, you have a problem. It's their problem. It's not our problem. We need to deal with them, but these people have very great issues in their lives.
Yeah. So you think that when somebody uses their power for evil or for bad, it's a sign that they've got something going on that they're not happy with, they're not comfortable in their own personal lives?
Normally, yes. There is another kind of profiles. There are difficult or critical profiles, but it's not the issue. It's not the main theme now. So in the general perspective, most of the people that their behavior are like tyrants, or they are threatening, or it's just because they have no self-respect, because they are not recognized by someone. They want to be recognized because they know they are occupying a position in a company or everywhere. Which is not their real position, because they are not prepared for that. So they found themselves in a position of power. They don't know how to manage this power, and so they need to defend their positions. So that is very dangerous. In the companies, is very dangerous. for example, is a medium level manager or director, is plenty of this kind of people.
Right. So these managers who have been elevated into positions of management, their skills probably aren't. They shouldn't be managers, but they suddenly find themselves in management positions, and so now they're trying to protect that position. And you say that these are some of the worst kind of characters.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like the people who suddenly have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay. So the money doesn't make you bad person. This only amplified who you are.
Yeah.
So you don't know what to do with this money. You need to brag about your money. You need to
right.
So that is almost the same thing with power. Power is dangerous because if you have not a very intense experience in life and you learned about the importance of the relationships of the another persons, and you are believing like Descartes said about solipsism. You exist because I imagine you. So that people think that way. So the sun on the wall goes around him or them, and they think they're very important. But
let's talk about your experience. Have you been bullied? Were you bullied at school? Have you ever had any experience of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I was bullied.
Tell us about it.
I was bullied in the school. I was mistreated in my home. I have a very tough history for the people. For me, it's my life story. So I'm grateful about my life. I think that everything that happened to me makes me be the man I am today. So I have no problem with my past. Is my foundation. I learned that. Fortunately, I learned the lessons, but not always I behaved this way. So in my early age, I was a different person. I was more insecure. I was more aggressive. I was more tyrant. So
did you get into fights and trouble?
Yeah, because I wanted to resolve all the injustices in the world. So I was in every fight, if it's possible. So was my mission also to resolve high intensity situations.
Right.
Well, fortunately, in some moment I grew up.
So you swapped your fists for words. You use words to
Yes,
so,
because. Yes, sorry.
No,
sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, so first, fists are the thing that people use against me. So is always the same history is repeating itself.
Right.
No, we need to change things, and the first need to change was me in that situation.
I want to get into some real experience that you've had negotiating in these high pressure situations with hostages. But I'd like to look at it from an emotional standpoint in terms of how you define your emotions and the type of emotions that you feel going into a high stressful negotiation scenario.
So, well, we try to use empathy. That is not an emotion, it's a tool. So we are looking for the emotions of the other person, and we are absolutely we are not we have no sense of ego there. So if you have not this sensation, you have no another emotions, or you try to the emotions doesn't hit you because the other people try to insult you, try to threat you, and that if your ego is on in this moment, you can destroy and shatter all the negotiations. So the first emotion, always we have fear, always we have the desire to the good outcome, always is normal. we recognize our emotions, we label these emotions, we write these emotions, and make some exercises to relax our heart rate and stop the adrenaline release from the
This is before going into the negotiation.
So sorry,
before you actually go into the negotiation,
always.
you do
Always.
So you write down your feelings, what you're feeling, and then you do some exercises. Wow, that's powerful.
Yes, always, because preparation is very important. The first preparation is my own preparation, because I know in some negotiations I could be triggered, so I need to remain calm and not have an spontaneous answer and the reaction to fight, not to flee at all, and not to be frozen. So we calm down the situation, slow down, and okay, I don't take it the insults, I don't take it the threats. I'm just focused in save alive.
I mean, it's another world, right? It's another world. I mean, I work in negotiation, but my area is in the corporate world, and when I imagine being put in a situation where life and death, right, or a gun is being held to you, or a knife is being held to you, I mean, I can't possibly imagine the stress that you would be under.
Well, it's training.
Yeah.
It's just training. I'm not special. It's just training. A lot of my colleagues in crisis negotiation are the same, or even better. So it's just training. There is no secrets here.
Yeah, I find it fascinating when when I met you, you had this key ring with Hermione written on it, and you said that at any point in time you could get called in the middle of the night and you would have to fly off to anywhere to go and actually negotiate release of hostages. Yes. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, we have this association. Is an NGO. We don't charge any fee for do that, and we can be deployed in everywhere in the world in a very difficult situation. So we are always prepared. But even when I'm not activated by Hermione, I was activated by persons that know me and write me. So because they have a situation of sexual extortion, or because they want to commit suicide, or the other day the threat of assassination of the kids. So I need to be always prepared for that, and it's not difficult to be prepared for that, because it's a way of life. You do the same thing in your life, in your job, because be a negotiator, business negotiator, a hostage or crisis negotiator is not a job. It's a way of life.
Yeah.
So we have our opinions, and we can think that somebody is an absolute idiot, but we have the right to have our little space to think and vent our emotions. But it's a way of life. It's not a job.
When you see these TV movies like The Negotiator, or I think it was Kevin Spacey, and recently there's Hijack, which has been on Netflix. How real are these situations that you see sensationalized on the media?
Not real at all. Absolutely not, because in the movies the action and the shootings, the fights are the thing that sells the movie or the TV show. So we are boring people because we don't fight, so we're just talking. So we're very bored. That is why I don't understand that concept of superstar of negotiation, because the negotiator needs to be invisible. It's a facilitator, it's a fuse, it's just a conduct to achieve an agreement. So we are not superstars, we are not gurus. We're not. We're just people that, like you, we are learn to negotiate, and we do.
Oh, that's a deep one. The negotiation needs to be invisible.
Almost invisible.
What do you mean by that?
You can go to a negotiation. Imagine I want to negotiate with you. We don't need to negotiate each other because we are friends and we always collaborate. But imagine for a moment we need to negotiate.
Right.
And I goes to the location we have to the meeting, and I was with a lot of ego, with deploying a lot of charisma, and because I need you recognize me as a star of a negotiation. I'm losing in this moment because you're prepared for that. So I prefer a low profile. Right. I prefer the low profile. I prefer to be maybe seen by the others like a little bit full or unprepared, or it's my style. It's not the only style. But because of my size and my face, I'm not precisely Brad Pitt. So people sometimes scares about my presence. I need to pretend that I'm. It's not difficult to pretend because I have insecurities. I'm not an insecure guy, but I have insecurities. So it's not difficult for me to put me in a position that the other person are comfortable. If I'm coming to you and as a superior human being or professional, your defenses your guard are very high.
That's right. Yeah.
We are going to a confrontation. So I prefer the low profile. I prefer to be not nice but kind.
What's your experience traveling through Spain and Latin America? What's the attitudes to the Latin cultures towards negotiation?
There is not a culture about negotiations in a Latin world. People think that they can use only the bargaining and handling or maybe pushing pressure or using the balance of power in his favors or disfavors. So there is not a culture here to negotiation. And we talk with a lot of companies, and the same companies in France or in Germany that we talk here, and they think they say, I don't need to learn to negotiate. I know how to negotiate.
Yeah.
So for a negotiator like me, or who else in my company or another companies, when a guy says I know how to negotiate, we think, okay, so I cannot discuss with you, but nobody knows how to negotiate. We are all learning every day.
Absolutely. So you're saying that you would work with a company in France or Germany and work with them, teaching them negotiation, and then the same branch of that company in Latin America would say, no, we don't need negotiation.
Yes, absolutely. They don't need negotiation.
Yeah. You said to me, and I really love this line, and sorry I use it often, is you've been eye to eye with terrorists, people who are focused on causing destruction unless they get the outcome. And you've been face to face with business negotiators who come in because they want something specific. And your point was that people will lie a lot more in business than they do in the hostage negotiation world.
Yeah. So in a hostage negotiation, you found a person that for any reason that it's in his mind or her mind, they feel frustrated. They feel I don't know, a lot of very bad emotions, and they feel nobody listening to them, and their lives are absolutely unfair, and the world is against them. So you can take your time and you try to talk, and you go into de-escalating emotions. In a business world, you found people that they're very aggressive. Very aggressive, and they insult and they put threats on the table, or ultimatums, or create a deadlock in a certain situation. So I felt more violence in some business negotiations than in a hostess negotiations.
Tell us about what you're doing at the moment, right? How can our listeners connect with you? Tell us about the body of your work.
Well, I'm publishing in LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. Salva Badillo is very easy. People can rate me, and we have a website for the company. It's www.thetrustedagency.com. So
we are coming to the end of our conversation. Not a podcast, right? You said let's have a conversation, which I love.
Yeah.
But I did want to share this with the listeners, because it was something that you said to me that I was so impressed with. And in our first conversation, you won't remember it, but I do. So we were talking about, in a negotiation, always not looking to see the other person as the enemy, always looking to find something in common, a common goal. And I said to you, in a hostage negotiation, how can you find something in common? I mean, he wants to kill these people, and you want him not to, right? So where's the common goal? Do you remember what you said?
No.
You said, well, I say to the person, when you woke up this morning, did you want to die? And they say no. And you say, well, that's great, because I don't want anyone to kill you today either. Yeah. And so that in that sentence, you immediately found a common goal.
Yeah. The common goal is everybody wants to live.
Yeah.
So even people that are suicidal wants to live, but not in the way they are living.
Yeah.
So there is something they want to kill, but not themselves, really. So yeah, it's important to understand what is the common shared objective in every negotiation, and in an extreme case you're talking is just life.
Yeah. I mean, what are your last words on this? When you know, in a world where people don't want to talk about emotions, people think that emotions are weak. What's your message to how that can be leveraged as a superpower?
Okay, if you want to live a very poor life, you can continue thinking that emotions are not important, but we are driving emotions, animals. So that is where Aristotle, I think, is wrong. The only thing is wrong for me is we are not rational beings, we are emotional beings, and your brain has decided with your emotions and your somatic memory has decided your decision before your cortex are aware about that. So a lot of people in the world, and you know that the pandemic about mental health is huge and is very overwhelming. People need to be listened. People have the right to have emotions, and we need to help people to balance their emotions, because degraded emotion is very dangerous.
Salva Badillo, it's always a pleasure talking with you. And
thank you.
For the listeners, please connect with Salva. He's very active on LinkedIn. He's very approachable. And if you're in Latin America, in Spain, and you are looking for somebody to work with in your company to really drive systemic, sustainable change, I thoroughly recommend Salva as one of the top negotiators I've met. Thank you very much for joining us at the table.
Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, Salva. What an incredible journey that episode took us on. If you, like us, were captivated by today's discussion, please show your support by giving us a like and hitting that subscribe button. Each subscription goes a long way to helping us bringing you more mind-blowing content. Thank you for being part of our community. I'm your host, Tony Anagor, and this is Empathy at the Table.